Okay, we're going to look at using the camera raw on the photos of the garage. So here's the directory full of photos, and I've got the JPEGs there, and I've got the CR2. This is the Canon Photo Raw. And I've kind of looked through them, and I'm going to decide that I think it was 87, 57, I can't remember, is going to make a nice, 57. 58, 57, at least for me, for example, is going to make a nice background. So 58, 57, I'm going to grab the CR2 and just drag it into Photoshop. Okay, so it's going to open this camera raw window. You've got a bunch of options and things you can do to the image here. Probably based on how I shot everything's a little too blue. The temperature is not correct, so just sliding that back will help a little bit. And looking at this photo, to me, I'm going to bring the shadows up a little bit and maybe the highlights down. You can see that brings back, this is where it was. The trees are a little less blown out here. Something like that. Kind of, you can see what these are, vibrant, saturation, whatnot. As I move through these, there should be some sharpening. I'm just going to leave that alone. HSL adjustments, these are pretty handy. For instance, to me, the yellow looks kind of cool down here, but the green, I think I'm going to pull the green out. So I can go to the green slider, and it might be partly yellow too. Just kind of pull these down and kind of hide the greens just a little bit. Maybe aqua? No. If I want to bring these stripes up, it's probably orange a little bit to make these pops. It's all pretty subtle. I can pull saturation down on just about everything else because I'm going to do kind of a low saturation image. So that's the HSL adjustments. There's split toning if you want to do it. You've all seen this in the Instagram filters that were so popular at one point, where the highlights were kind of tinted to yellow and the shadows were tinted to purple. Was kind of a look for a while. It's not probably going to work for this. But when you've got low saturation and you're trying to make your darks dark, something that's pretty common to do is put a little bit of cyan into the low colors. And it'll, not too much, I don't need that, but just a little bit. This balance thing helps you determine what's a low color and what's a high color. So I'm going to back to here, and I'm going to pull some of these all the way down. I want to keep the yellow stripe. I like that. And maybe contrast up a little bit. Just kind of make a nice look. And I'll see if I like this. So once you've worked through these, you can say open image. And it opens it up into Photoshop. One thing that also happened when you did that was that it made this XMP file. So we're going to need to grab a number of images here. This is just our backplate, but we're going to need some others for reflections, and we're going to need to bring them in the same kind of toning that this one had. So for instance, let me grab some other picture here that I might use. 5867. Brings up camera raw, and you can see it doesn't look anything like this. But instead of doing the settings, I can go right here and load the settings from that XMP file, which for me are way down somewhere. Car project, photos for class, And there's that XMP that I just made. And that should get it looking about the same. Every photo might take a little bit of adjustment. But then I can open this one as well. You can also do this in Lightroom, and I'm going to show you that. If you don't have Lightroom, that's fine. You can do it all in Photoshop. So I've been doing mine like this. It's a slightly different look. One of the nice advantages with Lightroom is, let's just grab a photo here. That one's actually pretty good. Let me grab a different one. Maybe I did all these. Let's see. Oh, this one will help. One of the advantages with Lightroom, if you're used to using it, it does have an automatic that's not working very well on this shot. Nice ways to straighten out a photo. This one you can tell is kind of crooked. Honestly, usually auto just does it for me, and I'm pretty good with that, but not this time. We need more horizontal here. So basically I'm just using this to kind of try and straighten it out. And that to me is one of the advantages of Lightroom. If you've got Lightroom, go ahead and use it here. If you don't, you can do some of those corrections manually. So in this photo here, I mean clearly it's a little crooked. Let's get a move tool here. Let's just rename this layer. Let's see if I can like straighten it out a little bit. Something like that. And then crop in just a little bit on this to get a final image. Yeah. And this is what I'm going to use as my backplate. And you can do this with all the images you can use. You can do it one at a time, but that XMP file is what lets you do this. All right, I think that's where I'm going to stop on this part.